Your partner seemed great in the beginning of the relationship. They were attentive, affectionate, gave you compliments, listened when you spoke, offered romantic gestures, expressed their feelings for you, wanted to spend time with you, and made you feel special. But then they started pulling away and detaching emotionally. When you ask them about it, they accuse you of being too sensitive and making things up. The compliments may still come, but they're with conditions, or a criticism precedes the compliment. Those jeans make your legs look big. You should wear the black pants I got for you. You look good in those. Their free time is now divided between other friends and social media, and when you ask them to spend time together and invest in the relationship, they say you're being too needy or clingy, or that you're imagining things. There's no problem. They love you and everything's fine. Then you have a really great weekend together, and it seems like things are just back to normal, and this makes you so happy and relieved. You chalk it up to them being stressed, or just in a mood. It happens to all of us. But this cycle repeats itself and usually develops with intensity. And each time the criticism, anger outbursts, threats, gaslighting, manipulation, and abandonment occur, you lose another piece of your self-esteem, autonomy, and often your sanity. What may have started as an equal and mutually loving and supportive relationship has morphed into an unhealthy dynamic in which the kindness and loyalty you extend to your partner comes at a significant cost to your own well-being. Hi, I'm Patty Blue Hayes, author, coach, and your guide to blossoming beyond heartbreak and cultivating hope as you sow the seeds of healing. In a trauma bond, you may find yourself doing any number of these things. Rationalizing abusive behavior, such as excusing irritability and yelling as stress-induced, covering up for your abuser, enduring mistreatment in order to keep the peace and not inflame them, feeling indebted to your abuser, concealing your true emotions in their presence, feeling trapped in the relationship despite knowing it's unhealthy, continuing to trust and support them even after they betray you, blaming yourself for their harmful actions because they tell you your behavior has changed, you're different than you used to be, adopting their viewpoints and beliefs as your own, distancing yourself from people who question the legitimacy of your relationship's health. If you've endured emotional, psychological, or physical abuse and developed a strong attachment to your abuser, chances are you've experienced trauma bonding. In a trauma bond, partners think they have true love or connection, even though the relationship is unhealthy or harmful. Trauma bonds aren't simply a challenging relationship. They are deeply rooted in our basic need for attachment and security. The abuser has tremendous power and control, and as it grows, your feelings of inadequacy, shame, guilt, and worthlessness deepen. Please help me continue to create these videos by subscribing to my channel if you find this content valuable. Unhealthy aspects of a romantic trauma bond include a sense of dependency on the partner for your emotional validation and stability, despite the presence of toxic behaviors within the relationship. This results in a powerful and unhealthy attachment that seems to fixate more deeply as the cycles of highs and lows plays out. Instead of recognizing the unhealthy and abusive behavior, you focus on the ever-shrinking moments where you feel like things are back to normal and there's genuine connection and intimacy. Causes of a romantic trauma bond come from various factors, including a history of past trauma or abuse, unresolved psychological issues, or dysfunctional relationship dynamics. In some cases, people may be drawn to partners who replicate familiar patterns of emotional pain or dysfunction, perpetuating the cycle of trauma bonding. It's not uncommon to fall into unhealthy patterns due to familiarity, especially if you've been exposed to toxic relationships in the past. Growing up in an environment where your parents didn't model a safe, loving relationship, or experiencing a series of harmful relationships can diminish your ability to recognize destructive patterns. And of course, social media and reality shows can perpetuate unrealistic expectations and even glorify toxic dynamics for entertainment. Unfortunately, trauma bonding can diminish your self-esteem and contribute to mental health struggles. That's why it's crucial to recognize if you're in this type of relationship and take steps to break free from its claws. Recognizing a romantic trauma bond involves acknowledging patterns of behavior within the relationship, such as feeling trapped or controlled by your partner, excusing or rationalizing their abusive behavior, having difficulty setting boundaries or asserting your independence, focusing on changing your behavior in an attempt to keep them calm or gain their approval, losing your sense of self and becoming overly dependent on your partner for your feelings of worthiness, believing empty promises that they'll change, and not seeing the reality of the situation for what it is. To determine whether you're in a healthy relationship or a trauma bond, it's crucial to pay attention to how the relationship consistently affects your emotional state. In a healthy relationship, you should feel supported, secure, and confident, whereas a trauma bond often creates feelings of fear, anxiety, or inadequacy. Unlike a healthy bond, which serves as a reliable source of comfort throughout life, a trauma bond may manifest as intermittent waves or cycles of distress, peppered with times of calm connection and bonding. If you think you might be in a trauma bond dynamic and not a loving partnership, start keeping a journal to track your emotions and record conversations as accurately as you can. Sometimes simply stating the facts without your emotion can help you see things even more clearly. It's common to question the validity of our perceptions, so jotting down notes like a journalist can help you reflect more logically and reasonably on events that take place. With time and support from a counselor, your family and friends, you can unlearn those detrimental patterns, cultivate a deeper awareness of yourself, and learn how to establish boundaries. From there, you'll gain confidence in distinguishing between a healthy partnership and a trauma bond. Ultimately, breaking free from a romantic trauma bond involves prioritizing your own well-being and taking action steps toward reclaiming your autonomy and self-esteem. Remember, you're on a journey of healing and transformation. The seed does not become a blossom overnight.